अपना श्री ईशोपनिषद मंत्रा 7 कंक्लूड करते हैं हम। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol. So let's conclude mantra 11. And it's so good to have you, Kana. I think Mataji is traveling, so she won't be able to join. And Anil Prabhuji was here, and we discussed a lot of things last time. Like Ajayji, we were missing. Oh, yes, we are having session. Okay. Anil Prabhuji sent a message, so I just replied to him. He was just thinking, because last time not many joined. So he was wondering whether we will have the session, even though last time also we had the session. And it was great what we discussed. So Haribo. Let's go further, and then let's quickly repeat and revise what we did. And maybe, because we have done it, let's get straight to Mantra 11. So Shri Īśopaniṣad Mantra 11, that and this is the connection between number 10 and 11. So 9, 10, 11, that's all about Vidya, the understanding. So Mantra 10 explains the culture of knowledge, what knowledge is and how the knowledge develops. Has a different result than the culture of ignorance. So we have knowledge, we have ignorance. Knowledge has different results, ignorance have different results, but Mantra 11 declares the result is full blessings of immortality. That the knowledge and ignorance will go hand in hand. If we have knowledge about, if we have all the knowledge about transcendental, we will still have some ignorance about material things. And what Krishna is saying, that it's okay, that we don't want to have all the knowledge about spiritual and material. There is always be a limitation how much knowledge we can have. Even if we have 100% spiritual knowledge, there will always be a lack of ignorance of material knowledge, but it's okay, because it's good for us that we are not knowledgeable about those things. As we have seen a lot in case of video games, especially these days, little kids, they know how to do the smartphones. And initially it looks good. Oh, wow, a little kid can do it. But then after a while, when little kid only wants to do that and nothing else, we go, oops, why? Why can't you just leave this and read the book instead? But immortality, we discussed great length, that material knowledge is avidya and the knowledge is vidya. So we should go towards vidya. Now, what vidya and avidya? This is what Radhesham Prabhuji explained, that we have transcendental birth and death. This is why we understood that the body is there, but it's the body itself is just material. The body is material, whether it's gross body, which is what we see with the 5 senses, or the subtle body, which is made up of mind, ego, and intelligence. Ego is that feeling that it's I have done it, I own it. And then we need to understand that this body is material and this body is going to go down. So the demonic nature is that we want to stay here permanent. But we need to understand we cannot live here permanent because we are not from here. And that's the reason we will see, doesn't really matter how much money, how much power, how much fame anyone has in this world, the person is never happy. Why? Because the need, our spiritual soul has desires, and those desires are spiritual rather than material. At the same time, we have a spiritual person, and we have seen many saints. They don't have anything materially, but still they are always blissful. So we can understand that if we get connected to our spiritual origin, then we could be happy But even if we have all the opulences in the world materially, then even after that, we will not able to be permanent happy. Temporary, yes. And of course, we need the material success. So our spiritual growth could go hand in hand with material success. But material success at the expense of spiritual, no. We should never sacrifice our spiritual growth for material growth. So the problem is that what the problem is, who imposes it, how does it aggregate? What is the problem? Who imposes it? How does it aggregate? Next slide, we will see in detail. Some examples are given, and then the solution is also given. What Lord does for us. So what Krishna is doing for us, and then what we have to do it. It's like when we go to the doctor and we say, this is the problem. The doctor will diagnose, doctor will provide us a solution, doctor will give us the medicine. But then when we will go home, we have to do a few things. We have to follow doctor's suggestions. We can't just say, oh, it's doctor's job to fix us. No, doctor has done it, whatever doctor could do. But then we have to, like Buddha said it. Somebody asked Buddha that, why don't you use all your power and make all of us liberated? And Buddha asked the person that, where are you from? And we have done this story before where the person said, oh, I'm from a different place. And then Buddha said, some people must have asked you the route because they know that you are not from here, you are there, you still go and you know the route. And the people ask you the route, have you told them the route? And they say, yeah, I've told them the route. All those people whom you have told the route, have they reached? But no, I've just told them the route. Whether they have followed the route or not, it's up to them. If they will follow, they will reach. There is no secret in it. And that's what Buddha said. That similarly, I have realized enlightenment, and you know that I have. And with all the compassion I have in my heart, I share that with you. Now, I can't travel for you. You will have to. And similar thing here, what Krishna is saying, that we will have to. We will have to do something. And we have to do something for ourselves. We have to do something. We have to ignore something. And that's where Vidya and Avidya comes. Right? So Krishna will say, the doctor will say that eat these kind of foods. These foods will increase your immunity. And ignore these food items because you will not able to digest. They are not good for you. So to do something and to not to do something. Same thing when we are in a corporate world, in our job, there are few things which we need to do, few things which we are not supposed to do, right? And we get so many trainings for the best practices and not to fall in the bad practices in business. So this is all what's in our hands, because a lot of people ask that, do we need to do something or everything is on Krishna's? No, Krishna has given us the guidance, and then Guru has shown us, explained us, but we have to do our own bits. Who accepts the solution? Like who will do it and who does not do it? So this is the whole problem part of it. Let's have it in more detail. So problem. What is the problem? Problem what it is. No one wants to die old disease, yet none can avoid. Right? This is the problem of material world. If we see all the people, all those demons, the very first thing they ask from Brahma is, or even from Shivji, that make us immortal. We don't want to die. We don't want to die. And we don't want to die. We don't want to become old. We don't want to be diseased. And I mean, what could be more sarcastic than that? I think it's a big irony of the life. This is one thing which we don't want, and this is one thing that which is unchangeable. It will happen. Anything else could change, but this thing will never change, that somebody could live here forever. It will never change. So this is the problem, that we are attached to people, we are attached to the body, we are attached to the family, we are attached to the house, we are attached to the job. At some point, either we will leave or they will leave. And that's the problem. If we understand, we will be happy. Who imposes it? So why this? Why this problem is there? Because of the material nature. Does not give anyone immunity. It's not. So somebody said that we were having a discussion and said that yes, let's for an example. Somebody said, "Oh, he's a perfect politician," and the other person said, "But he lies. How could he be a perfect politician if he how could be perfect if he lies?" The other person jokingly said that, "Well, I didn't say that he's perfect. I said he's a perfect politician." And that's part of it. What's wrong? He's perfect in his profession, and that thing is part of profession. And thinking about it, this material nature is perfect, but death is part of it. So in that sense, of course, we can accept material nature as it is. And when death will come as a part of it, we need to open our arms and we need to accept it. And if we understand that these things are temporary, then it's much easier. And these will happen. And not only that, this will happen, this could happen at any time. And not only that, this could happen anytime, this happens all around us. Before COVID, during COVID, acceleration was so high, even after COVID. And COVID is just one example. People die all over us. I mean, is there anyone who doesn't know someone who has lost someone, either not in his or her family, but somewhere else outside? This is material nature. We have seen it in our own family, outside. This is the problem. If we think, if this is the desire to go against material nature, it's a problem. But if we accept it, it's not a problem anymore then. And then how does it aggregate? Advancement of material knowledge. Like, we don't try to understand, and this is the main difference between spirituality and material life. Spiritually, we will always try to reiterate this true nature of material nature. Nothing wrong. This is my nature. If somebody will say, "Oh, something wrong with the fire, fire burns." No, 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 no. Nothing is wrong. It's just fire. It's part of the fire. Now, material nature, or somebody dies, there is a problem, something wrong happened. No, the body is supposed to. And I remember Ajahn Brahm, who is a great Buddhist, and from London, he learned Buddhism in Thailand, I think, and he's currently in Western Australia. He's a head monk there, pretty old, 65 or 68 now. And he said once that somebody came to him and said, "Oh, something is wrong with me, I'm sick." He said, "Oh, what's wrong with you if you're sick? This body gets sick. Nothing wrong about it. This is the nature of the body." And this is exactly what we are saying here. If we accept it, it's nothing wrong with it. It's the body and it gets sick. It's as simple as that. But because all of our material knowledge and the advancement in it, we try to avoid it. We try to color our hair. We try to use the cream to get rid of our wrinkles. We try to hide all those things. And these are the, it's such a beautiful way material nature being put together, the material life, that the body gives us the signal that we are going good. It's not that overnight, tomorrow we will be 60 years old. No, gradually, every day, some symptoms slowly appears. One hair goes gray, then goes white. The body flexibility will go down. The speed will go down. Eyesight will go down. Hearing, the taste, things will go wrong. Oh, well, I said wrong. Things will go slowly, gradually retract. Right? And we need to understand the body is saying, make yourself ready. And there are examples in Bhagavatam where one of the king, he saw one gray hair in his head in the morning while he was getting ready for the assembly. And then that's it. As soon as he saw it, he made the decision that I'm going to hand over everything to my son, and this is the time for me to take Vanprasth. And he left the palace for the Vanprasth. And there are some examples like this. And this is a beautiful way the body tells us that it's the time to wrap up, or at least start wrapping up. So somebody said to me personally that the person is renovating the house and clearing everything. I think she's 75, and she said that she used the word. She's an English lady, so she said, "I am doing what traditionally we call as a death clean." So I'm cleaning the house, everything old, I'm giving it away. And this is what we always traditionally used to call death clean. She's not spiritual or she's not even religious, but still she understands the principles that my time is coming and I better get rid of things. And she had a big piano, which she had for years for her daughter, and she had just given away that piano free of cost. And she said, this is the part of death clean. And we went there, she called us, and we helped her a bit, and we were discussing, and she said, well, this feel remorse, because obviously when as soon as we heard, we said, oh, my wife was with me as well, and she said, no, it appears remorse, but it's nothing. It's just traditionally we call it death clean. And if you think about it, she's 75. And we might be in our early 30s, early 40s, early 20s, but death couldn't come anytime. Shouldn't we always be in that consciousness that we just have that death clean item, which means only possess what we need rather than what we want. Imagine how easy it will be to clean the house, how easy it will be to find the things out, how simply we can live. We don't need a lot of things in the house, only those things which we need, and that's it. So it's beautifully put together. Some of the examples we have seen, Hiranyakashipu example, we have seen the example of Ravan, and then, of course, he wanted to become immortal. Brahma said, even I'm not immortal, so I cannot give you what I don't have it. And then later on, he tried cheating. So we say cunning gentleman. So there are many people in corporate world, and they say this is like a dog eat dog world. Is like cutting throat competition. Go out there, and if you have to lie, if you have to cheat, if you have to do corruption, do it. And we see so many people on with a great education, what we think as material education, and maybe on very responsible places, but they make bad decisions. Not, of course, anybody could make bad decisions, but consciously when you do something wrong, you know it's wrong. Not that you made the decision and that didn't work out. It's okay. But at least when you made the decision, you had the intention to improve something. But when you have the intention, when you know you're lying or you're doing corruption, this is that category. That's why that consciousness is considered as demonic consciousness, that Hiranyakashipu. So not that Hiranyakashipu was, of course, a different person, a different demon, but that demonic quality we also have sometimes. And that could be always there in the back of our mind. We don't get the opportunity. But as soon as somebody gets the opportunity, that demonic mentality comes out and ruin the whole life. And we have seen this. That's why it's so important that we give spirituality, the foundation to our kids, that not that they build a great tower of material success. If that foundation isn't strong, the risk is always there that they might fall, which means one mistake and then all the success will go down. And of course, as we have seen that Hiranyakashipu achieved so much materially, it says that even when he everybody, including the demigods, Indra, the leader, even when he used to hear, oh, Hiranyakashipu is not happy with something, he used to run away. And he actually left his Indravati, his palace, he left it. But later on, Hiranyakashipu was, of course, killed by Narasimha. So this example has been given. We have also seen the example of Ravan, very similar one. When we want to enjoy, when we want to live permanently, when we forget that this is a material world, we cannot live here happily forever. Of course, make the best use of the bad bargain, what Srila Prabhupada explained, that use this material body and use this time, use this knowledge, use this Lakshmi, money we have, the skill, talent, anything we have, what Krishna has given us, use it in service of Krishna, whatever time we have, and we will be happy. And hopefully we will get what we call spiritual immortality. So what was the solution of all that? Solution is that gives us scriptures to remind forgetful living entity. This is what Krishna has done it for us. Krishna has given us the scriptures. It says Krishna has taken a form. So if we see Dashavatar, so Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Krishna has taken the form of fish. Krishna has taken the form of tortoise, boar, a wild boar, Varaha, and then of course Narsimha, lion, half man. Krishna has taken so many different roles. And in Kali Yuga, Krishna has taken a form of scripture. So Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Puran is considered as the book incarnation of Krishna. So this is what Krishna has done it for us. So Krishna has appeared himself and that knowledge is there. So we have Bhagavatam here and we should read it every day, every day. So when we do the Aarti, we have, I've done a course called Bhakti Shastri and then Bhakti Vaibhav. In those courses, we learn some shlokas. So we recite those shlokas. Most of the shlokas are from Bhagavatam. And of course, we like in the temple, when we attend temples, even the YouTube, on YouTube, we can connect to the temple and we can listen to the Bhagavatam every day. Every day we do. And it's possible. Considering I consider this as a blessing working from home, I get connected on YouTube every day. Of course, it starts from 4 and then gradually it goes until 8. And then in the back, obviously it's a chanting time, it's a prayers time. And then there's 1 hour in between, which is a lecture time. And it's on YouTube, so we can listen live. If you want to stop it for some work, we can stop it and we can resume it every day, gradually, step by step, we get that knowledge. So not only the scriptures being given, Krishna has sent the bona fide servants, like what we consider as our Guru Maharaj, like when Srila Prabhupada said, I'm the servant of my spiritual master, my Guru. So I'm here as a servant. So somebody said to Srila Prabhupada, a god brother of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you going to America, I've heard. And Srila Prabhupada folded his hands and he said, I'm not going to America. Bhagavatam is going to America. I'm going along as a servant of Bhagavatam if I could do any service. This is before everything started, before he went very first time to America. He didn't know. He had a couple of heart attacks on the boat, on the cargo ship, and things were stolen. He only had 40 rupees. And even then, and Prabhupada said that Krishna tested me twice. Once when I didn't have anything, whether I could put my faith in Krishna. I didn't have anything. I was there in America, everything was stolen. Prabhupada had a typewriter to type the books. The typewriter was stolen. And then Prabhupada said, Krishna tested me twice, once when I didn't have anything, and then when Krishna gave me everything. Like when Prabhupada was flying all over the world, so many temples he opened in, it says 100 temples, 108 temples in 10 years, Prabhupada opened globally. And Prabhupada always said that same thing, what he said it in the beginning, exactly same thing. And that was the reason A lot of Srila Prabhupadaji's disciples, they share that why I got attracted to Srila Prabhupada, because he said something and then his life was just the following his own words. It's not that he said something and he did something else. No, that's the reason in the parampara we call there are two types of Bhagavatam. One is a book Bhagavatam, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. We read it, and one is person Bhagavatam, like somebody like Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj. They are person Bhagavatam. Like the book has the teachings, and the people, the person who has engrossed those teachings in their life. Anything they do, it's according to the wisdom given in Bhagavatam. So this is very important, and that's why it says we should always have a guru, or at least the association of devotees. And then Krishna comes himself. Krishna has come himself in many different ways, but in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. And Krishna explained how to do bhakti. This is what Krishna is. And what we should do. Well, what we should do and what we should not do. What not to do, one-sided attempt. Like we should not leave this to Krishna. We should do everything what we can, but always when we do, we should not think that we can do it. Like we cannot claim Krishna's love. We can, like being a servant, we can serve and we can just hope that the master will accept. So we don't have, of course, the term servant is very decorative in this material world, but servant in a sense that how parents, how grandparents serve the little child. That's, we serve and we don't expect anything in return. So that's how we should do. We should always do, but we should always remember it's not one-sided effort. It's like two fingers in Damodar Leela, our efforts and Krishna's mercy. We will do, but then we will wait for Krishna's mercy. On what to do. So this is not to do. We should not have one-sided attempt. We should do our own, but we should always remember that Krishna's mercy needs to be there. We cannot claim, like somebody said that why my parents, so somebody at our home said that why my parents had to die. My mom was doing so much worship. And at that time, of course, we didn't. But later on, I said, well, don't consider Krishna as Krishna's bhakti as some kind of insurance policy, that if somebody will pray to Krishna, and the miseries will not come. Misery comes as part of our own karma. And Radheshyam Prabhuji explained it very nicely. He did mechanical engineering, where he gave the example of a fan. He said, if the fan is there, if you switch off fan is switched off, no electricity going to the fan, but fan will still keep moving. Why? Because of the previous electricity, because of previous momentum, right? It's called inertia. And this is what happens with us. Even if we are in bhakti now, we have done some karmas in the past, and those actions will definitely come. When will it come? We don't know, but it will definitely come. So we should not think for that. But what to do? We should always prepare to go back to the Godhead, which means we should always read the scripture. We should try to follow the scriptures on a daily basis. Remember, that's the main thing. So, of course, whatever we do, good, it should be regular. And regular means that it could be once in a month, but then let's increase the frequency. It could be once in a week, or monthly to weekly. And then how about if it could be daily? And hopefully a day will come when it will be every moment. Every moment, whatever we do, will always be for Krishna. And we will never forget. And if this will happen, then the immediate effect will be complete bliss. Why? Because think about it, when we get angry, we only get angry when either we want something and we don't get it, or we don't want something and we get it. So these are the only two reasons. If we can think, we can put anything in these two categories, and those reasons make us unhappy. But if we consider ourselves as a servant, if we don't become proprietor, we say whatever comes, because obviously if good comes, thank you, Krishna. If bad comes, it's because of our own karma. We will never ask for anything new. We will not ask to remove something bad which had happened to us. We always say as a devotee to Krishna, Krishna, it's okay if we have received something bad happen. Give us so much tolerance that we can tolerate, we can go through this bad phase, so our bhakti will not get affected. And think if we could be in that consciousness. So the bodily pain will be there, but internally we will always be happy. Because we know, first of all, it's temporary, it's material nature, it will go away. And we always remember, it doesn't really matter. So I broke my ankle, but even when I slept, while I was in sleep, all the pain, because the pain was only bodily pain. And when I went in the deep sleep, all that pain, all the realizations of the body goes away. That's why we say, if the child falls down, we say, oh, make him sleep. If he sleeps, or if she sleeps, the pain will go. The pain will go because the consciousness, we will go beyond the body. And the pain is only at the body level. And we know we are not body, we are spirit soul. So we have that understanding. Obviously, it's not that easy. And that's the reason we need to work on a daily basis. That's why we need to study the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, daily, on a regular basis, again and again and again and again. Who accepts solutions? So it says, intelligent being in human life, intelligent being, they accept it. Who does not accept the solution? Naradhama. This is a word of scriptures, Naradhama. Nara, somebody who doesn't have the understanding, the true understanding of the religion, who will never understand. And when we go out for preaching, we always consider ourselves in Naradhama. We think, oh, well, we don't, whatever we have is because of the association of the devotees. So we will never consider ourselves better than others. But if we see somebody else in miserable form, we try to share Krishna consciousness because we have tasted it. If we have tasted something, we would definitely like to share that with our loved ones, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our relatives, with our family members, with our children, and with everyone, without the differentiation that whether this person belongs to our nation, this person belongs to our country, our region, our religion, our caste, creed, sex, color. No differentiation. We understand that everyone, and when we say everyone, it's not even for only for human beings. It's even for all living beings. Compassion will be there. And this is the role of avidya and vidya as we understood. Avidya, what it is, we have seen advancement of material knowledge. Who undertakes it? Foolish people. So not that foolish people will not. So not that we are not going to take the artificial machine learning, ChatGPT and all this technology. But we should always remember that that's just part of it. How can we use it for the spiritual benefit? We should always try to understand that that's not the proof that we can do everything and we are independent being. Why they pursue it? And it says because of the illusion. And sometimes a lot of scientists, intermediary, while they are advancing, they go against the God. But when they advance further, they accept God. And there was a research done, and they've taken like the top 10 scientists. A phase came in, all the top 10, like Richard Dawkins, and there are many great examples there. And all of them in between, they doubted God. But as they continued their scientific life, then they accepted God right at the end. So the result will be, it says material fever will increase. And isn't it true? People go mad. People, more sense gratification, they develop diseases. Right? Richest kids of richest people, they make not only their life unhappy, but many people around them. So what is the hope for us? Best use of bad bargain. So what we should do? We should try to become spiritual. And that's why Vidya. What we should do, transcendental knowledge, what we are doing now, right? What we need to do, real sense enjoyment is possible when present covering is removed, which means we should always be in Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. We should always consider ourselves servant of God and servant of the humanity. And this is all about reading about the scriptures. NOD, nectar of devotion. We will do that. And maybe after Shri Īśopaniṣad is part of Bhakti Shastri course. And follow 18 principles of Bhagavad Gita 13.8. We have seen those 18 principles, but we will see them again. Concentration, devotional service. Last thing I will show is from Bhaj Govinda, verse 21. And this is from Adi Shankaracharya ji, who did Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda. Beautiful thing he put together. Beautiful, I think, I don't remember if it was 6 or Ashtakam, whether there were 8 main verses, obviously split into many later. Punarmi Janma, Punarmi Maranan, Punarmi Janma, Jartha Shanam. So it's like again and again and again, we fall into this material life. The only way to go out is that we realize Krishna consciousness. So we will conclude mantra 11 here. And from this is the whole bracket of 9, 10, and 11. And from next week, we will start mantra 12, which will be a new theme. How to, with that understanding, what we have seen, how to worship Krishna now. But obviously, if you remember what we have done so far, we will be able to live spiritually rather than full of sense gratification, which is material. Thank you so much for your association. I look forward to see you next week, and we will start mantra 12. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ajay ji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare